America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have a roll call, Bonnie?
Mr. Bova.
Here.
Mrs. Cerrucci.
Here.
Mr. Gottman.
Here.
Dr. Kalkstein.
Here.
Mr. Lapsevich.
Yeah.
Mr. McIntyre.
Here.
Mr. Ritter.
Here.
Mrs. Warning. Here. Mr. Williams.
Here.
Did anybody sign up, Bonnie, to comment on agenda items this evening?
No one called in advance.
Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on agenda items? No? Seeing none, let's move on to Section B, financial reports. Mr. Schott.
Thank you, Mr. Ritchie. Section B, this evening we have to present Section B1 list of bills for the month of March 2019. Section B2, the monthly financial statements for the month of February 2019. And Section B3, budget transfers for the month of March 2019. And again, just to mention, as we always do each month, we'll have an additional one of bills to present for the regular meeting next Tuesday.
Okay. Are there any questions for Mr. Schott? Seeing none? We have no items tabled previously, so we'll move to Section D, personnel agenda. Mrs. Crump.
Thank you, Mr. Rucci. The items presented are for the meeting for March 19th. Under resignations, we have two listed. One we would like to draw attention to is for Paula Conley. She's the secretary at University Park Elementary. Paula has worked 18 years for the district. She started off as a switchboard operator, and then she went to Gateway Middle School as a library clerk and is finishing her career in University Park. And so we wish her well and thank her for her service. Under leave of absences, we have 7 listed. Per the collective bargaining agreement under Section 3, we have 1. Employment, we're recommending 2 substitute food workers, a student worker. Under supplemental contracts, we have 3 resignations, along with 3 issuances, and 4 volunteers to be submitted for approval.
Questions, comments from board members?
One comment. I just want to wish Paula the best of luck in her next step in life, in her retirement. I believe she's working on her children are having, I think, the 6th grandchild, so she's going to have some busy time. So I just wish you the best of luck, and thank you, Paula, for all your time.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Section E, conferences and conventions.
Thank you, Dr. Short. Resolved that the Gateway Board of School Directors approves and authorizes the following conferences and conventions as listed in Section E. It's a regular board meeting of Tuesday, March 19th. We do have 4 conferences listed. There were 2 that were added in a later version of the agenda. We have for James Helchi, the PMEA Region Band, Michael Brown, Keystone State Skyward Users Group, and Justin Stevens and Eve Dudak for the PA Positive Support Implementers Forum.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for Dr. Chakey?
Question. What's the PA Positive Behavior Support implement? Was that new? Did you ever attend one of them, Dr. Short?
I have not attended one of those, but we've been very active with the Positive Behavior Support Program for multiple years in the district.
Is that where we thought we were doing this?
Yes. I have it.
Anybody else? No, Section F, administrative resolutions, Dr. Short. We do have an action item.
We do have one action item this evening. Item number 1 is approve the following capital repair project to be completed by the following vendor at the following total amount during the 1920 fiscal year as depicted in Exhibit A. Specifically, that is to ATT Sports, Inc., track repairs at Gateway High School Stadium in the amount of $280,075.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Williams, second by Ms. Warning. Questions? Comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mrs. Cerrucci.
Aye.
Mr. Gottman.
Aye.
Dr. Kalkstein.
Aye.
Mr. Lapsevich.
Aye.
Mr. McIntyre.
Aye.
Mr. Ritter.
Aye.
Mrs. Warning.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Mr. Bova.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you. Okay, items for discussion. Who's going to take that, Dr. Short?
First start with trauma-informed care for educators, Title IV. Dr. Rossi, you want to take that?
Sure. Number one is approve the trauma-informed care for educators training with family behavioral resources for one full-day session as part of our Title IV program.
Is there no cost on these?
Item number 2, we have a 30-day public display, AP World History textbooks, 2 listed.
Number 3 is a TAC feeder proposal to approve the project proposal with the TAC feeder to explore various ways of integrating curriculum through dance, movement, dialogue, and physical education and music classes, and also science. And that's also a Title IV program.
Facility agreements, Dr. Shaky.
Item 4, we have 2 facility agreements, one with Macedonian Church of Pittsburgh and the other with Gateway Midget Football and Cheerleading Camp.
Who wants to take number 5?
It's an affiliation agreement with Chatham University, as depicted in Exhibit C.
And I guess number 6 is you.
Mr. Shaw.
I'll take over from here, thank you.
You're on, Paul.
All right, item number 6. Approve the extension of the preventive maintenance service agreement for the 2 high school weight rooms and the 1 Gateway Middle School weight room with G&G Fitness Equipment Incorporated in the amount of $2,600 for the period of July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2020, as depicted in Exhibit D. Item number 7. Accept the following district donations received during the current 18-19 fiscal year as depicted below. Specifically, the first donation is towards the backpack program. Specifically, we have various donors and items, and I'll read each one. Citizens Bank of Monroeville, 20 pounds of non-perishable food. Daly's Juice Company, 30 cases of juice. Artex Design, 50 backpacks. Aldi's, $300 gift card. Walmart of Delmont, $25 gift card. Rotary Club of Monroeville, $1,000 check. Shop and Save, Route 286, $25 gift card. Target, $25 gift card. Jim Brewster, $50 check. And again, this is recipient Jennifer Hoffner, again, the backpack program that's being run through University Park Elementary School. Our second donor is United Way of Southwestern PA. They donated 355 books through Michael Mateo. The utilization is for all the elementary school libraries, specifically University Park Elementary School, Ramsey Elementary School, Evergreen Elementary School, and Dr. Cleveland Jr.'s Elementary School. Item number 8, approval to advertise for bids in the Post-Gazette, Greensburg Tribune Review, and on the district's website. The milk bid, the annual milk bid for the milk services and related food items for the district's food service department during the upcoming 1920 fiscal year. Item number 9, it's the annual approval of the 2019-2020 fiscal year Allegheny Intermediate Unit Number 3's Program of Services budget. The total budget for 18-19 is actually I should say 19-20, is $2,144,656 and reflects an overall increase of $58,547 or 2.81% in overall expenditures. The total district allocation by state subsidy withholding for 1920 for all school districts is $1,811,545, reflecting an increase of $46,257 or 2.62% from the 18-19 budget. The district's share of the allocation by state subsidy withholding for 1920 will be determined by the Pennsylvania Department of Education according to the district's aid ratio and weighted average daily membership. The district's share currently estimated for 1920 is $70,599, and all of that detail is depicted in Exhibit E. Item number 10, this is an annual approval for the IDEA Part B Use of Funds Subgrant Agreement through the Allegheny Intermediate Unit Number 3 for a 1920 fiscal year. Again, this long agreement basically says we'll adhere to those terms and conditions for our pass-through funds. And also related to item number 10 is item number 11. It's the approval of the attachment A, notice of adoption of policies, procedures, and use of funds by school district of the Allegheny Intermediate Unit Number 3, IDEA Part B for the 1920 fiscal year. And that's also depicted in Exhibit G. And just to provide a little bit of information, the district receives approximately $736,000 annually that's passed through federal funds that pass through the Allegheny Intermediate Unit. Item number 12 is approve the purchase of the Raptor Visitor Management Solution for Divine Mercy Academy as outlined in the Title IV Federal Program Regulations and depicted in Exhibit H. Item number 13, approve the capital repair project for installation of a secure entrance into the athletic office in the high school sports complex, comprised materials and labor for the door installation from A.G. Mario Company, ball partitions from Monroeville Glass Block Company, and all wiring for the door access control system through the district's maintenance department, a grand total amount of $13,000 for the entire project to be completed during the 1920 fiscal year. Note, the above capital repair project will be budgeted for in the district's capital reserve fund for the 1920 fiscal year. The above portion of the project from the A.G. Mario Company will be utilizing CoStar's vendor pricing. Item number 14, approve the advertisement for the partial roof replacement at the high school as a capital repair project to be completed during the 1920 fiscal year. Note, the above capital repair project will be budgeted for in the district's capital reserve fund budget for the 1920 fiscal year. Approximately 44,380 square feet of roof would be replaced for this phase of partial roof replacement at estimated cost of $388,325. Item number 15, and this is related to item number 14. Approve the hiring of Ariston Architecture in the net total amount of $14,850 to assist with the preparation of the required project bid specifications and corresponding documents for the partial roof replacement at the high school to be completed during the 1920 fiscal year. Just like to note, Ariston Architecture has previously assisted the district with the development of project bid specifications for previous roof replacements and repair projects throughout the district. Item number 16. Approve the partnership for a pilot program and the mutual confidentiality agreement with Cognistic LLC, DBA Cognistics, for the utilization of Marauder's MAP artificial intelligence and machine learning technology for school safety at an estimated initial cost of approximately $65,000 during the 1920 fiscal year. Note, the above initial first-year cost of implementation for hardware and installation is estimated and will need to be clarified by the vendor. The utilization of above technology with current district video surveillance will be able to identify and target potential threats within the video field of view. The goal is to add another level of security through technology. The technology will identify potential threats and provide the proper authorities with critical real-time information about these threats.
Okay, can I stop you there, Mr. Schott?
Sure.
There's only one other item, but
Yes.
I'm going to stop you there because we do have guests to speak to this matter, and rather than keep them waiting while we discuss all previously mentioned 15 items, I would like to invite you guys to come up to the microphone and share with us.
Sanjay,
Sure.
if you would like to introduce the team and
Absolutely.
give our viewing public, our board members at the meeting tonight an overview of the program. I do believe we're hooked up for some video as well when you're ready.
Excellent. So first of all, thank you to the board for this opportunity to present. And thanks to all the audience for being here. So we are from Cognistics LLC. We are a CMU spin-off. We're about 4 years old. We are an artificial intelligence company. And one of the technologies that emerged as part of research from Carnegie Mellon was from Harry Potter's Marauder's map. So it was basically multi-object, multi-camera tracking. The ability to see how people move across multiple cameras, and many people moving across these multiple cameras. The application, what we are talking to Gateway High School here, is about school safety. So we obviously have a lot of students, teachers, and everybody at schools. But as people are moving, the cameras are already monitoring them, already sort of seeing what's going on. We're putting an AI engine behind it. And what the artificial intelligence engine will do is if there is a threat, if there's somebody walking in the school with a gun, posing with a gun, we will be able to detect it. We will be able to notify the appropriate authorities as designated by the board. Also, what we'll be able to do is if kids are fighting, or any kids are doing drugs, or any activity that is of interest, we can train AI models to detect those activities and notify the right authorities. So think about it versus people having to look and watch videos. Computer vision, AI technology is watching it for you and notifying you when there is an event of interest. We can actually also show a quick video about the technology.
Mr. Brown, are we ready for the video?
Yep.
Yep. Zisha, could you hit that one?
Both of these?
One of them, first
You
one.
want to try the other?
Yeah.
Vision of empowering our customers to create positive change. Cog's Vision, a partner of Cognistics, are the pioneers who have brought you successful AI solutions such as the Moda Manager application, the OfferNet platform, and customer service chatbots in the first 3 years of its existence. Now, with a partnership with Carnegie Mellon University, Cog's Vision gives you FlowTrack using Workflow AI. The U.S. video analytics market exceeds $12 billion in revenue with a forecasted CAGR of 9.3%. Workflow AI is a malleable platform that is applicable throughout the healthcare continuum and can be applied in other industries. Workflow AI brings a revolutionary approach to monitoring and tracking equipment, objects, and people within large areas.
Change is here, and using proactive video analytics, your business can make practical decisions in real time. Workflow AI consumes and interprets large amount of data, measuring day-to-day interactions and movements within an environment, giving it output of useful results to increase efficiency and improve operational effectiveness. With this technology, the whereabouts of important objects and persons of interest can be kept in order. Using the most advanced artificial intelligence dashboard, this vast technology will increase safety and efficiency in any industry used. At Cog's Vision, we put our wholehearted belief in safety, trust, and constant precision into everything we create. FlowTrack, a better solution, safety for all.
So that was the first video that gives an overall view. We also have a little bit more technical video. Since I'm a geek, I'll continue to share the technical video with you guys as well. And then we'll open it up for questions.
This paper, we propose an algorithm which can pinpoint the location of each person of interest at all times in a complex indoor environment. The map in the middle shows not only the location of the walls, but also the location of each individual at each time instant. The surrounding videos correspond to each view of the camera. We now show a few representative examples to demonstrate our tracking results. A typical indoor scene consists of many occlusion-causing walls and long corridors with sparse camera setups. However, to the best of our knowledge, this is the first work that has applied multi-camera, multi-object tracking to such a complex indoor environment. The algorithm we propose is a tracking by detection-based semi-supervised learning framework, which takes advantage of all important cues such as color, person detection, face recognition, and non-background information. Non-negative discretization simultaneously satisfies the manifold assumption and the mutual exclusion constraint for all individuals. The proposed method can perform effective tracking in challenging scenarios as shown on the screen. In conclusion, we propose a novel algorithm which can utilize all available cues and non-negative discretization to perform effective tracking in complex indoor environments. Thank you.
So that was the underlying technology.
And just so the viewing public understands, one of the issues, conversations I've had with the Monroeville Police, specifically Chief Cole and also Brian Key with our school resource officers, once an individual may enter one of our facilities, at no point in time do we know or do the authorities know where that individual is within the building. And it's essential that with this technology, if we're able to pinpoint exactly where that individual is, a message can be sent to the authorities, the Monroeville Police, school police, teachers. A map would come up via a text message indicating the dot on the screen exactly where the assailant may be. That in itself is a game changer, and it's something that can not only benefit public institutions of learning, but any business and any office out there in society. Questions?
Yeah, we'd like to open up the floor to the board members. If you'd like to ask Sanjay any questions? Anyone? Doesn't this have the ability to track groups of people? Like say you had, in the cafeteria, there was a fight broke out and there were, 5 or 6 kids fighting. Would it pick that up?
It would. So we could train the algorithm. So what we typically do is get training data sets where we train the videos by seeing kids that are fighting. And once the AI algorithm knows, oh, that's how kids fighting look, it can detect anytime there's a fight break out and alert you.
So this is something that you would build here
Yes.
with data, so you would come into the school, you would start videoing,
Either
and
in
you
the
would
school
basically
or
teach.
in our lab where we would get the training data, come up with the training data, test it here, test it with some of the kids and then be able to. Once we're confident the technology is working, then we'll roll it out.
And just so everybody's clear, this is kind of a pilot program that you want to do with Gateway School District. It's not.
Gateway is the first school in the world to get this really cool technology and adopt it for school safety.
How long will it take to implement it?
That's a great question. Typically, sort of, between training the models, getting all the servers and everything installed, 4 to 5 months.
So we were talking about projected budgets, which we're still working with you, but
Correct.
those costs include the technology, the hardware required to implement, not just hours.
Upfront cost.
Yes, yeah, those costs that we've given you include the software, the hardware, and the maintenance. The reason why it's a little bit of a range right now is because we don't know exactly how many buildings and how many cameras will we be monitoring. And it's mostly the hardware cost that we worried about. This is a more do-good thing from our perspective. But we don't know how many cameras and buildings are there, so we don't know how many servers will be needed to monitor it. And we'll also then, in some cases, have to send some information to the cloud, AWS or other instances for further processing. That's the reason why that.
And at the conclusion of the pilot program, then, is any of that hardware purchased the property of Gateway School District?
Correct.
With the cameras you're, go ahead. With the cameras you're talking about, anything compatible with what Gateway has presently?
Yeah, well, you don't need to change any of the cameras. We can work with any of the existing cameras that are there.
Good
Thank you.
question.
How is your technology able to pick up any kind of weapon, like a knife or a gun, with heat sensors or what? How they
So-
pick them up?
So there's multiple things we do there. One is obviously object detection, where we are noticing if there is any object you're holding in your hand. But that object could be a big stapler that looks like a gun. So we augment that information with pose. So if I'm holding a stapler, I'm not going to be holding it like this. So between pose detection, object detection, and person detection, we'd be able to come up with a pretty high precision identification of an assailant. Obviously, once he's holding the gun and shooting it, we all know about it.
You won't be able to detect if it's in their clothing then?
We will not be able to detect if it's in their clothing.
Okay.
That's what the metal detectors are for.
Yeah.
Very good. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, Mr. Shaw, you want to highlight 17, and then we'll open up this entire section for discussion?
Sure. Item number 17.
Okay. Back to order, please.
Item number 17, approve the awarding of wiring installation services and UPS equipment or battery backups purchased to Advent Communications Incorporated and SHI in the pre-discount total amount of $154,207.94, as well as a formal submission of E-rate Forms 471 for participation in the E-rate program for the 1920 fiscal year. Note, according to E-rate rules, applicants such as the district must be able to demonstrate that they had a contract or other legally binding agreement in place at the time they certified an FCC Form 471. For E-rate purposes, the district must sign the E-rate agreement before March 27, 2019, which will allow the procurement of these products after July 1, 2019. That will be dependent upon the final approval of next year's 2019-2020 fiscal year general fund budget, confirmation by the district's board, and award of the associated E-rate funding. The district formally advertised and requested proposals from applicable vendors for the above E-rate internal connection services.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, I'd like to open up section F for questions, comments.
Yes, thank you, President.
Take a break, Mr. Schott, that was a lot.
I got a question for Mr. Brown, if it's okay. On number 13, the door, at the sports complex, it was brought to my attention when I was there one day. This was actually my little baby that I just came up with, and there was a parent that didn't know how to get back out of the building once they left Mr. Revesky's office, that's the AD's office. And I left him, I showed him how to get out. He was all the way down the other end of the hall. Then I'm thinking, well, if an intruder could come in my building and talk to Mr. Revesky, who, just played dumb, and then leave Mr. Revesky's office, he would have the access of the whole building. He could go upstairs, he could, a swimming area, gym area, and classrooms. That's what my concern with it was, and that's why I had it. I thank the board for, letting it be on the agenda tonight. Also, you have it for the beginning of the following year. My concern is, it might never happen. It's probably never going to happen, but our school is pretty secure, and we want to make it more secure every day. Is there any way we could have that implemented before the beginning of the next school year? Can it take place this school year to get it put into place?
Bob, you want to take the microphone?
Could you introduce yourself, please?
Thanks, Mr. Lansmith. Yes, there is a way that would be solely up to the board to approve it at the next board meeting to come out of the 2019-2020 budget to order the materials now. But that would be the way to get it done. That's why we actually have it on here to try to move that along. If we wait till July, it's going to be a lot further down the road.
Yeah, I understand that you don't have it in your budget. I mean, you did everything in your budget with your money. I know you don't have any left for this year, but if my Dr. Short can implement those few $1,000s out of your budget or find it somewhere, I would feel good in my heart that it'd be done sooner than beginning of next year.
Mr. Shaw, can you see if there's any funds in this year's budget? Because I don't see how we can spend money on a budget we haven't approved until June. So the only way that I can see that happening is if there's still funds left in this year's budget. Would you concur with that?
Well, we're in the process, and this is kind of a nice tie-in with our 1920 budget, the general fund budget. Obviously, the capital reserve fund budget has a direct tie-in to that, because not only this project, but several other projects that we've mentioned already on the agenda this evening, the intent with those projects is what we've done the last 2 fiscal years, where we funded those projects out of fund balance. And again, which is an appropriate utilization of fund balance, because again, you always want to be able to utilize fund balance for either very non-reoccurring projects or things that might be like a one-time item for that. We definitely don't want to fund anything that's reoccurring from year to year to year to year, where we would be draining down the fund balance for that. So it would be possible, and again, we're looking at current balances that have not been expended, because one of the things that we're trying to do as a central administrative team is to take a look at where we stand currently to see if there's opportunities to maybe purchase things now that we would ordinarily be including in next year's budget. Thereby, we can get some budgetary relief for next year to help maybe soften some of the blows, some of our increasing expenditures. But again, we could take a look at that and see, we could find $13,000. I could probably think of an account right offhand where we could possibly squeeze that from right now if push
We'll
came
give
to
you till
shove
next
for that.
week. So by next week, you can tell us if you can find $13,000, and if not, our option would be to vote on taking it from fund balance in order to have the project move before June, correct?
I can definitely do that for you.
Thank you, Ms. President. Thank you.
Question, if the money is able to be found, when would the process start?
The process would begin as soon as.
Come to the microphone, please.
Ordering the process.
Could you go to the microphone, please?
Once it's approved by the board, the purchase orders can be cut, and we can order the product. So that's the beginning of it. This time of year, those manufacturers are a little less busy than they are towards the end of the summer when everybody's trying to purchase those same products. So it's still going to be approximately 45 days to get those pieces into the, into our hands in order to do it. but we would be able to have it done, you know, at that point within 1 to 2 weeks.
Would our workers be the one doing it?
No. There's 3 different factions involved in this: the purchasing of the door and the installation of those doors themselves, glass block panels to secure the non-entrance areas, and then our folks in-house would handle all the wiring for all the access control and push-button apparatuses to gain access to different areas from the secretary's office.
Thank you.
Mr. Brown, will this be an entranceway from the outside?
Yes,
Directly
it
from
would
the outside
enter
or the
directly
inside?
from the outside with a short corridor into the athletic director's office.
And the corridor will consist of glass block windows?
Glass block where it goes from that corridor into the sports complex proper.
I'm not a big fan of the glass block window because you can't see through them as much. Is there any other type of,
Well, the other option would be clear laminated glass or clear tempered glass. That portion is not on the exterior of the building, that is on the, you know, to the interior. The reason we chose that is that it is structural,
Right.
so it's a good solid material that we can use that is relatively inexpensive. There are glass panels in the doors, and in this instance, those panels are only about 2.5 foot wide. They have 2 of them. So there's very little obstruction as far as that goes, but that was the purpose behind it. We could replace it with aluminum framing and glass panels, similar to side lights on the door. That would be our other option, but usually cost a little bit more.
Do you have any visual designs of this that you can share?
I do not.
Not
I
at
can
right this minute, but
We could probably mock
produce
something
something
up
up
with some pictures just
for
to
you for
show
next
the
week.
board.
That would be
would that be helpful?
easily.
that one entranceway does have glass block in
It
it
does
currently, right?
on the sides, and that was for the same purpose. It's,
Less expensive.
Yeah.
and it's structural, it lets daylight in, and it's not really an area that you're viewing through.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else for Mr. Brown before he sits down?
I got a question on that.
Go ahead, Mr.
I
Rowley.
mean, a visual representation of this would be really nice to kind of see this, because I haven't been to Mr. Ravesi's office, but last time I was in the sports complex, he had the main entrance there. And going off what Mr. Laswich said about security, I'm just thinking, shouldn't the doors of the sports complex be secure as it is? And if he's worried about getting in there, well, if you got inside, that's already a problem.
No, Mr. Lapsovich is correct in what he's saying. Once you enter the sports complex from the exterior, you can literally walk up the steps and across the bridge into the high school unobstructed. Mr. Ravesti's office is isolated within the sports complex. It doesn't have direct access.
And you must buzz in from the exterior to get into the sports complex. However, once that individual goes in, does business with Mr. Ravesti, buys a ticket, whatever, we're hoping that that individual just leaves the office and exits the exterior door. However, there's always a chance that the individual could access the stairwell to go up top.
Oh, okay, I see now. All right.
Okay. Good job, George. AP World History books, Dr. Chaky. They're here somewhere, right? The books?
Yeah, they're on display in the board conference room.
Okay. I know, I want to look at them. Anybody else
You want
wants
me to
to?
go get them?
No, I mean after the meeting. Does anybody have any other questions on items 1 through 17? I think I had one. Oh, just for clarification for the public, the AIU, we spend a lot of money annually to join the AIU. We are bound geographically by which AIU we can join, correct?
Correct.
We don't have a choice. We can't go join any other AIUs. We're kind of, this is it or nothing.
Yeah, he's right.
Oh, yes, and also the Divine Mercy Academy. Can you just explain that we're not actually buying something for another school?
Well, we actually are, but it's through our federal program, it's for equitable services. The money driven by federal programs, Title I is driven by the low income count, and then it goes with the student. So if the student attends a Divine Mercy or whatever non-public school, that money goes with that child.
And it's Title I funds,
This one would
right?
be Title IV.
Title IV
It's federal
funds.
program, right, so we
So
do
it's
give
federal
them-
funds come here and the student goes there, so the money
It's like a
comes here and then
pass-through.
it passes through to the
Yes.
school where the student goes.
But with the new regulations, we have to purchase it. We can't have them purchase it, and we're responsible for making sure
That it gets
it's used
purchased.
for it, yes.
Okay, I think there was some questions,
Yep.
and thank you for clearing that up. Anybody else?
I got one last question.
Yeah.
Okay, and item number 17, I was noticing that it said in the pre-discount total amount of $154,207. So the question is, one, what is the discount rate and when does that apply? Michael?
So our current E-rate discount rate, it's looking like we're going to be in the 80% range. The actual amount we get is going to be a little bit less because some of the items in this proposal is not E-rate eligible. So depending on how you look at it, we're say going to be between a 70 and 80% discount
Okay, so
on
when
the total amount.
All right, so when that discount applies, do we get a refund?
Yes. And it's up to us if we want to wait until we get that funding or we want to do the project and then wait for the funding to come in. It may be months to years, unfortunately, to get the funds, but it will come eventually.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? No? Okay. Are there any resolutions by board members? There are none on the agenda. No? Okay. Section 11 is comments from residents on non-agenda items. Does anybody in the audience wish to address the board on any topics? Neither one of them. No.
Richard?
All right, let's move on to reports. Want to go first or last?
Sure, I can go first.
Okay. You can go for it. First, Dr. Short.
As you can see from the presentation tonight and the agenda, that this district is constantly looking at the safety and welfare of our students. There was a story done on Channel 11 News regarding the metal detectors. We are involved in a pilot program at Gateway Middle School and Gateway High School. Both programs have been up and running for probably about a week. Things have been smooth to this point. It's standard operating procedure. The funds were accumulated through a grant from PDE. We did have Senator Brewster on in at the high school last Friday. Also with the Marauders map, Cognivision, I think that it's amazing what technology is able to do, and if there's anything out there that can prevent a life from being taken, I think we need to invest in that and see what the possibilities are. So with that, thank you, and we'll continue to do everything we can for our children.
Thank you. I'm going to start on this side tonight, because you're always last, Dr. Calverson.
Nothing further.
Nothing this evening.
Brian?
Yeah, just one thing. I got the chance to go to the Steaming Up event over at University Park, where the students got to have all these science projects going around. And I have to say, that was really cool to go to. I got to sit down with a few students and just have them explain, between one student basing his project of physics using a catapult to the game of Fortnite, to seeing this really cool science project with a battery. I never knew you can do this. Taking a rare earth magnet, put just a regular AA battery on top, and using a little piece of tape for the edge, you could put a copper wire and it would just instantly spin. I didn't know that was possible, and I actually want to try that myself. And I think the best one of them all, though, was there's a exhibit on popcorn, and I am proud to announce that it's found out through scientific experiments that the cheapest popcorn out there is the one that pops the most kernels. So if you're looking to buy popcorn, don't go for the most expensive. It pops the least. But yeah, it was just awesome being there, and I hope they do it again next year.
Thank you. Mr. McIntyre?
Nothing at this time other than happy St. Patrick's Day this coming weekend. If you're going to go out and have a good time, don't drink and drive.
Call an Uber.
Call an Uber.
Mr. Bova?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Lepsowicz? Do you have anything?
Yes, thank you. I just want to thank our administrators, especially Dr. Shaky, on the flawless work he's doing with the metal detectors. Thank you.
Mrs. Warning?
Couple things. Mr. Brown, I just want to thank you for your help and support and guidance with Sunrise with their lead testing. They were unaware of the lead testing that went, and the numbers came back, and as Mr. Brown said, Mr. Bob Brown, not Mr. Micah Brown, they were off the charts, very high. So they are looking a way to put filters on them so the students are not affected. Since it's still in a gateway school district, I'm glad how everybody's working together to make sure everybody's well. Congratulations to the inductees of the National Honor Society, which will happen this week. It's always a wonderful presentation with these kids, and I believe it's Thursday evening. Also, Friday at 1:30 at the sports complex, they're having the mini kickoff for the mini-thon. They're having an assembly. And it's really a great program. The actual mini-thon is going to be May 8th. It's the same day as Kennywood, but they can do the marathon, marathon, is it May 8th, Lonnie? May 18th, May 18th, you looked up, okay. May 18th, they can do the mini-thon in the morning and then go to Kennywood in the afternoon, so that's good. Another thing that's off the difference, this past weekend was the home show down at the convention center. And if you're looking for siding or whatever, it's a good place to go. But Gateway had a display down there on their robotics, their quasics. And talking to Sean McMahon, I believe he said there were well over 10,000 people that had gone through their exhibit. And it was really fascinating. I had to explain to my husband that it wasn't a kit. It was actually pieces that the kids put together and works. And they're actually in competition this next weekend at Cal U. So if anybody's interested, hopefully Mr. Mike O'Brien can put this on our website that they can see. But we're doing an awful lot of good things here at Gateway, and I just want to thank everybody for their support. And that's it.
Mr. Ritter?
Very good. Michael, if you would launch my little PowerPoint right there. Went over to University Park Elementary School, and I want the folks at home, the parents at home, to know one of the programs that we have going on here that you can opt into is to have your students' teeth painted with a sealant that helps them helps keep them from getting cavities. So over at UP today, the elementary students received education about the oral health component from the Allegheny County Health Department. Next week, they actually get to have the sealant applied to some of their teeth, so you could opt into that if you want. And I'd like to say thanks to Cynthia Kober, the UP nurse there, Molly Carter from the Allegheny County Health Department, and Molly the Tooth Tolliver. Next slide, please. So this is what it looks like. There's Molly. You can see the tooth right there, and she's waving high. And oh, what's that in the background? Terrible. Our nurses are Steeler fans. That's what I saw. So this is the nurse's office. Thank you very kindly. So that's part one. So, you know, folks at home, opt into some of these safety protocols, health protocols that our school offers, in addition to the great education that we provide here as well. Next, seems to be PSBA season, Pennsylvania School Board Association. There was a sectional meeting that I went to last week. We've got a legal roundup meeting coming up tomorrow. We've got the Advocacy Day coming up in Harrisburg soon. There's an Allegheny County Legislative Forum on Education at the Allegheny Intermediate Unit on Thursday. And a new PSBA report is out that folks can download from the PSBA website. It's called the State of Education in Pennsylvania Report. That just came out, so grab that and go ahead and read it. And that's all I have with respect to the meeting. But I think I need to apologize to the board members. I think I cut us off a little bit too quickly on a discussion that we were having. So at the tail end of this meeting, if we would like to go back into executive session, I would apologetically like to offer a motion to go back into the executive session to finish our little discussion. Does So that's all I have.
Thank you.
You-
We'll go, no, we have a few more to get to, and we'll address that. Mrs. Crum?
Yes, I'd just like to thank the board for the opportunity to attend the PASBO conference last week. It was a great conference where we learned lots of information on current trends in bargaining. I have a presentation that I'm going to share with Dr. Chakey that came from Central York, where it talks about communicating in an emergency. As you know, last year they had closed 3 days due to threats, and so they shared all of their experiences and firsthand things that they learned that we'll be passing along. So there's a lot of information that we gained that we're going to pass on that I thank you for.
Good. Are we hiring anybody right now, Mrs. Crum?
Not at this very moment. Stay tuned.
Always taking applications.
Always taking applications, yes we are.
Mr. Shaw?
Thank you. I do have a few items this evening as well. I also attended the state conference last week and able to report that I did make contact with about 7 or 8 different athletic field turf vendors. Was able to acquire information to pass on to Mr. Brown to utilize in our process of identifying potential vendors and products. So that was successful in that point. Did learn about some new items coming around that unfortunately are going to create a lot more work for all of us here in central administration. The one specifically in relation to Act 5 of 2015, scheduled to begin July 1st of this year. That is in regards to all those new employees who will be hired after July 1st. They will fall under what's considered to be the new pension plan available that is more consistent with a traditional 401k plan. There is, as I stated, a lot of extra work that's required for those new employees in terms of reporting and remittances as well. With that. Unfortunately, though, with Act 5, there is no immediate relief for our 34-35% employer contribution rate, so we still have to stay tuned for that. The other item of note, in relation to the Every Student Succeeds Act, or ESSA, starting for the current fiscal year 18-19, there is a building expenditure reporting that will be part of our annual financial report. It's kind of scary in a way. It reminds me of a report a number of years ago called Your School is Your Money, which in my opinion didn't really accurately reflect a lot of expenditures in terms of how they're incurred. Again, even in terms of this report, in terms of how to accurately depict expenditures per building when various prorations are required, leads to various compatibility issues between not only buildings in the district, but also between other districts. Because again, you're having all of us not doing it the exact same way. So, and again, it's hard to compare apples to apples when we look at that. But just wanted to mention that this is something again, that's going to be done in the fall. PD is going to issue some of the report probably next March. So it'll start to percolate and bubble up next March. So just wanted to mention that as well. One item of very positive note, had some conversation with our insurance carrier at the conference, CM Regent. And they're actually going to be able to provide the district with a 3-year rate hold through the district's insurance broker, the Arthur J. Gallagher and Company. So again, very, very positive to hear that we were actually able to qualify for that, which are our primary products that we utilize.
Healthcare?
No, not healthcare. No, not healthcare, unfortunately. But I just wanted to mention that as well. I'm in the process of completing all, as we always do, the annual applications for that. So again, just wanted to mention that 3-year rate hold is very significant. And finally, just like to mention that our first Budget and Finance Committee meeting is scheduled for Thursday, March 28th at 6 p.m. in the high school LGI. Again, I'll mention that next week as well as a reminder. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Rossi?
Nothing further?
Dr. Chakey?
Nothing, thank you.
Mrs. Bungart?
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Ritter had offered a motion. If there are any board members that feel we need to continue executive, I would have a second.
I'm going to make a second on that, please.
Second, Valerie Warning, second to motion for executive, so,
And then we won't come back for the rest of the night.
yeah, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. No?
No. Close the call. Roll call.
Okay, I couldn't call that one.
See my names. Mr. Gottman,
No.
Dr. Kalkstein,
No.
Mr. Lapsevich,
No.
Mr. McIntyre,
No.
Mr. Ritter.
No.
What's your motion?
Well, it was an offer to go to executive session.
Okay.
Okay.
Exactly, that's what it was.
Mrs. Warning.
They don't want
No.
that.
Mr.
Time to
Williams.
vote it down.
Yes.
Mr. Bubba?
Yes.
Mrs. Cerucci?
Yes, motion fails. All right, with that, I'll seek a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second, all those in favor, aye? Aye, we're adjourned, thank you.